Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday. The S&P 500 was down 0.17% today. Luckily for us, our accounts really came through today and did well for the first time really so far this week, unfortunately. But we did see a rotation back into the things that we own. Seemed to be a lot of interest in those again. And what's happened this week, I think is really fascinating. We've seen this happen now a couple of other times, and there's this kind of really, strange rotation that happens, and then all of a sudden it goes away. Let me show you an example, and I'll discuss kind of a concept with you that we call the equity style box. Okay, so this is something actually that I used to see all the time in Morningstar, and this is a way of classifying, different types of stocks, or in our case, different types of ETFs. And so, you have large stocks and medium-sized stocks and small stocks. This has to do with the market capitalization, which is really just, the number of shares outstanding times the price per share. And then there's value. Okay, so value stock would be something that's considered, inexpensive compared to its earnings or revenues or sales or what have you. On the opposite side, we have growth, which is a company that, might be expensive, but there's an expectation for a lot of growth in the future. And then the blend, which is just kind of in between. So I'm going to use a style box here where I use the S&P indexes. So this would be the S&P 500. This is the S&P mid cap 400. And then this is the S&P small cap 600. And I'll show you an example here too. And then you'll be able to see all 9 of these pieces. And then I'll show you some rankings for what's been happening. So one of the ways I like to look at, what's happening is this tool here through a company called ETF Replay. And what happens here is I can weight different time periods, A and B, 2 different time periods, and volatility. So when I really want to see like what happened, this week, and this is everything except for today, but that's relative. I'm really interested in that. What I'm looking for here is just, what happened to last week for number one, return A, today for return B, and then volatility. I also have a rank in there, and I like to look at the last 12 months worth of volatility, and then it ranks them kind of 1 through 9. There's our boxes. So if we look at what happened this week, we have S&P 500, so that's large value, and then we have large blend and large growth. So all big stocks, right, and whatnot. So now, if we look at a longer period of time, let's just say 12 months, and we go to say 3 months, and we hit the run model here, you can see it's actually exactly the opposite in the sense of these first two. We've got, small cap growth and small cap, blend, and then we have the S&P, 500 big growth, all, essentially growth or blend. And so what has happened, really interesting this week is what we've been seeing is kind of this growth motion, smaller mid cap, and if it's a big stock, it's a high growth stock really running, and that's been kind of dominating. And then all of a sudden in 1 week, whoosh, it flips around completely, values at the top. And so here's the thing that I think is important about this is just, is this a 1 week blip or is this a trend? I am concerned that this trend will happen at some point in time because a lot of these value stocks are companies that, are going to do better once the vaccine comes out and the virus really dies down. And I do think we're going to see this rotation into that. And we'll have to be aware of that because there's only so much money in the world that can go. It can't go into everything. And so if it's going to those areas, it might not be going into the areas that we kind of have right now. And so that's what I'm watching. Now, one of the things that did happen is today it rotated back into where it was before. So we literally had a 3-day run with this, flipping into this value category, a large stock category, and what have you. And so, not much of a trend so far, but again, I just want to point out kind of how we look at it and what we're looking at as far as that goes. We did have some stop losses trip yesterday, and I've got some cash now to put into the portfolios. So we'll do our research this weekend, and you'll see some trades coming through on Monday to kind of deploy those. Most of that money was in IRAs, so that'll be something that we do here. I'm actually kind of excited about that. I really want to make sure that we're on the right waves at any point in time. And clean energy took a pretty good beating in there, and those were the ones that mostly got tripped. And that's going to be a little bit hard to kind of come back out of that. And so maybe in the interim, we take a look at some other areas that are moving really well. There's some stuff happening right now that's moving very nicely. So I look forward to that. And really amazing week. Not a great week for us for return, but we're still doing great this month. We're doing great this year. So I'm very excited about that as far as that goes. Every day doesn't always work out the way that I'd like, but overall, I think things are, not too bad. So look forward to talking to you on Monday. Thank you very much.